Using marijuana before the age of 25 could actually cause changes in our memory. That's because THC, the active chemical in weed, attaches to receptors in the hippocampus, the part of your brain that creates memories. Learn about marijuana at our website.
Would you rather have wireless on the most reliable network nationwide or unlimited with 5G for $30 a month per line? You don't have to choose with Xfinity Mobile. Wireless so good it keeps one-upping itself. Most reliable based on Roots Metric US report. Results vary, not an endorsement. $30 per month per line when you get 4 lines.
Hi there, I am Adam Kirvas, and this is my novel, The Supermarket Murder. I'm in the staff room. Melis, the woman who came to greet me, is still looking at me indifferently. I'm still holding her ID in my hands. I again read over the family name, Lab. Harun, the one shop assistant, who's cold, who tells me that he didn't see anything. Only Mehmet. He's the one who is worried. He's the one who actually found the dead body, saw it. I ask him, where were you when it happened? Mehmet is thoughtful. He's scared. He doesn't dare to look in to my eyes. He's staring at his hands. I was at the back, while the delivery guy was there. You can check if you want. Immediately, I hear in his voice that he fears my doubt, suspicion. Melis intervenes. I know that guy. He's been bothering every one of us. He has sexually harassed me. She says it in a careless way, in a cold manner. He just sexually harassed me, that's all. So he probably has deserved to die. I'm thoughtful. I look at the shop assistant's shoes. The shoes of Melis and Harun are dirty. They probably walked in here recently. And I see that Mehmet's shoes are actually clean. Well, this could mean that Mehmet probably has a special pairs of shoes in his lockers. Or that Mehmet lives somewhere else, has approached the shop from a different route, so that his shoes did not get dirty. But again, it is somehow suspicious. I look at Harun, and his clothes too doesn't seem to fit. He still seems tired, as if he had waken up recently, despite the fact that it is already past midday. I look at Melis. Her cold eyes do not let go of me. I ask her, where do you know that man? She tells me he has been visiting us for quite a while. Do you know where he lives? Her response is immediate. He's a tourist. How do you know? Well, now she gets a bit uncomfortable, hesitant. Well, we know everyone around here. I'm thoughtful. If he's a tourist, do you know where he lives? Melis agrees, yes. And Harun gets up and takes out a motel key out of his pocket. Where did that come from? I ask him. He tells me it was lying on the floor. He, meaning the dead body, must have dropped him. Must have dropped it. And now I ponder, how could have been a motel key dropped? Because it appeared like that a person was shot in his face and that he fall forward. I look back. I remember the person's trousers, his coat, his overcoat. He had deep pocket. And I think that as a tourist, the most thing you scared of is that you might lose your keys. Did he dangle with his keys in his hands? Melis seems to have grasped my suspicion. She immediately froze in. He dangled with his keys arrogantly in front of us. He acted like he would be something better. She says it with a contemptuous tone. I look at her, make her grasp, try to bring her back in reality that I'm still holding her ID, her blue card, and that I again ostentatiously look at her ID, conveying to her, well, you are a member of the Leheb family. You are privileged above all. But she doesn't seem to be bothered in the least. I tell Harun, so you found him then, and not Mehmet. Harun is thoughtful, as if he did not really thought it through. No, he claims, Mehmet was the first. He told me, and then I immediately rushed towards the body. And the first thing I saw was the motel keys. The first thing he saw. And this from the guy who just a couple of seconds before told me that he's under such a shock that he can't remember anything. I wanna poke him a little bit. So the only thing you saw was the keys, the motel keys. He approves, yes. Did you saw who shot him? The room gets silent. No, he tells me after a while, I didn't saw him. And again, Melis intervenes. Well, probably one of the girls' fathers whom he harassed shot him. Does he? How long have you known this dead person? Melis thinks for a couple of seconds. She says 4 to 5 years. We know him because he always comes here. He always lives at the same motel. What's his name? She doesn't know. She says it's I think she's thoughtful pondering. She says maybe his name is Thomas or Taffy. Thomas or Taffy. But I tell her, you know that he's an American, don't you? Yes, she says, yeah. His name is Thomas. Thomas. Did he ever talk to you? No, he didn't. But you know his name, yes. Because people around here, they talk. Talk about what? Well, they talk about other people. People who harass them. I ask her. She admits yes. So, everyone is talking about him being a harasser. I ask. Yes, she admits. Did he harass you as well? Melis looks me straight in my eyes, cold, without any emotions. Yes, he did. Here in the supermarket, I inquire. She thinks for a while and then responds, no, not here, outside. Outside where? Well, outside there. She needs time to think about a proper answer. Well, outside somewhere. I sometimes walk past the motel, and I noticed him cat calling me. What did he say? I inquire. Well, you know, I see she's hesitant. Again, she's struggling to make up a good lie. She hasn't thought it through. She's a bad liar, because good liars are not those who can keep a poker face, but those who can continuously invent stuff, who have any answer for every possible question. She's a bad liar. She says, yeah, he called to me, hey, baby, and so on. That's what he did, yes. I'm still holding her ID. She probably thought this would be all easy. She probably trusted on her name and that everything would be solved thereafter. I'm thoughtful. May I take down your names? Because this is a very important murder investigation, and I probably need to know more, or I probably need to ask you once again. Harun is spooked. He looks at Melis. He didn't think that it would come to a second interrogation. Melis is thoughtful. Then she says, well, we said you everything we know. Well, maybe you may remember something else. Mehmet, the one who has been silent for all this time, gets shaken up. He's fearful. Again, those two men look at Melis. She seems to be the head of the group and probably prepared everyone to what they assume should say. I don't wait for an response. I take out my notebook and write down. I write down Melis' name. I write down Harun's name and Mehmet's name. And I say to them, you will probably have to come to the police precinct with an ID. And this strikes those two fully. Harun claims an ID. He is troubled. I see that his face gets reddish. He is breathing heavily. Yes, I say, we need to make sure who you are, because this is some serious stuff. I wanna play out my cards. I know that I have struck something. I wanna spook them. I wanna frighten them. I say to them, well, he's an American. And because he's an American citizen, the American embassy will want a proper investigation. He's a foreigner. Things are different in America. All three of them are deadbeat. But his parents are Turkish. This doesn't matter. I respond. It doesn't matter because he is an American citizen, and this will be spread over the news media in America. Americans do not like their citizens being shot dead in public. This is some serious issue here, ladies and gentlemen. And I know this strikes all of them. I linger for a while. I know that I have all three of them in my hand now. Because people make stupid things when they are scared. I can immediately see that they know something. That probably more people are involved in this. Not only those three, that probably this is only the tip of the iceberg. I'm still holding Melis's ID card. What does her family know about her? About her? That she is involved in a homicide investigation. I pocket her ID card, watching her closely. She is struck. She has lost her indifference. She has lost her smugness. Her body is slightly bent forward. And she's struggling with herself. I take out a glove. I ostentatiously put on the gloves in front of everyone. And I pick up the motel keys and put it into a bag with an indifferent manner. I tell to all three of them that we have to search for fingerprints on that motel key. All three of them get beaten and look at each other, troubled. I walk out of the supermarket. I again watch at the dead body. Someone was shot there. Before I went out, I turned and asked Melis that we probably need the surveillance recordings, that the cameras must have recorded the murderer. Melis regains her composure. She says that the cameras are off. How can that be? I demand. She says that there was an issue. There was an issue with the cameras, and the technician was called on, but he did not appear so far. Melis almost smiles. Her smug nature strikes me. This was probably an integral part of their plan. Thoughtful. I'm thoughtful. So we have no recordings then? No, she says. Do you have the name of the technician who is responsible for the surveillance cameras in the supermarket? She says yes, and immediately takes out a card of the technician. Well, how convenient. She had it in her pocket. I read over the card of the technician. Murat Javal. Technician. The card looks cheap. It looks one of those cards you can order in the internet, where you get them very cheaply in a bulk. I watch it for a while. I flip it. I don't wanna let those three folks off the hook. I groan. I mourn. And I ask Melis, are you sure that's his card? And her smugness, her condescending poise disappears. She's aware of my doubt. She says yes, but this is not a self-assured yes anymore. This is a hesitant yes, a wary yes. Very well, I say. Look at her eyes, indifferently, coldly. I want to repay her the way she treated me before. I walk out of the supermarket. I see at the onlookers many people have gathered. And I see in the distance, I think I recognize some of the Leheb family members. They came here very fast. I know, of course, what people say about this family. I know a little bit about their social standings. I know that this family is well off. I know that it is unusual for someone of the Leheb family to work in a supermarket. And I know that this supermarket is actually not the place where normally this family would do their or buy their groceries. So weird. This all strikes me as weird. I look at the motel key. I know the motel is a cheap motel, a little bit outside the town. It is one of those motels tourist guides would not recommend because it is cheap. It has not all amenities. It, for example, has no internet. And I wonder that this tourist who came here from the States, from all the way from America, the ticket alone must have cost him between $800 and $1,500. The ticket alone. And then he comes here and sleeps in a cheap motel. This indeed strikes me as odd. And I woke up in the motel. The motel is, as it appears from outside, it is shabby. It is worn off. It is not the kind of motel tourists would go into. It is rather a motel which is, for inner country travelers, or for truckers, for omnibus drivers who have to sleep off for a day or something, a night. But this is sure as hell not a motel for tourists. At least I think about it. I look around. No. There's trash in the corners. There is filth on the floor. And there is a smell. It is the floor soap. This same smell like in the supermarket. The same floor soap. And I'm thoughtful. But I think of the tourist. Maybe he had a very important business to attend to. It could be that he traveled all the way from the States, came here to do any business, who knows? But I ponder, Why pay $800 to $1,500 for a flight? You could have as well as paid it to a lawyer. This would have made things easier. Why come all the way to Turkey and sleep in a cheap and shabby motel? Maybe this is all a cover. I think about the stuff I heard about drag mules who travel the world, who bring in and export drug through all the world. Maybe they have came up with a good scheme to bring drugs in the US or something like that. Because one thing struck me as sure, that they knew him, but this sexual harassment stuff, this sounds too vague, too indifferent. I've seen a lot of women who have been the victims of abuse, who have been the victims of harassment. They are broke. They have lost their self-assurance. They do not stand in front of you condescendingly and in a smug way. No, they are broke. So what is going on? I'm not quite sure. I walk up into the hotel room. I woke up on the reception. I'm greeted by a woman. She's dark tanned. She doesn't seem to be a local, but I see a name tag on her chest stating Arzu. I greet her. Hi. I'm here for the room of a person who has died recently, a tourist, an American. Do you know his room number? Because the key does not reveal any room number. It is a simple bare key. I see a PC, but it is not opened yet. I look at her, and she has written on a hand note the room number, 172. Do you have his name? I ask her. She says, yeah, his name is Mr. Jenkins. I say to her, I demand from her, can you print out the booking? She looks worried at the personal computer. She says vaguely, no, I can't do that. Why? I demand. Because the owner, she's struggling to come up with an explanation, because the owner has changed the password and he did not tell anyone the new password. So I can't get into the system, she tells me. Oh, I see. Can I have your ID? I ask her, because I know something is off of this story. I see she's not a local. And she speaks Turkish with a slight Arabic accent. She says, why do you need my ID? I'm only a worker here. I say to her, well, because you may have seen something. You may know something about Mr. Jenkins. She says, no, I didn't see anything. I don't know him at all. Again, I look at the notes in front of her desk. The room number 172, and beneath is the victim's name, Mr. Jenkins. How come that she knew whom I was looking for? I ask her, did you know that I was looking for him? She says no. But why did you write down the room number and his name? Then she says, I have not written it down. It was the owner. He was called by the police, and the owner called her and told her the room number and the name. I see. Is the owner around? He is, but he is not in today. I ask her, where might he be? Well, I don't know. He doesn't say those things to us. He doesn't tell us what he does. She seems exhausted, weary. Then I say to her, well, if you do not have an ID, I have to make a photo of you. What? She's shocked. Yeah, I say, because, I know of course that you look like a decent girl, but, we have, as a police officer, you come across a lot of people who want to deceive others, and we wanna be sure who you are. She's struck. I take out my smartphone, look at her attentively, and take a photo. She's paralyzed. Something in her wants to resist. She's grabbing tightly the chair on which she's sitting, but she can't do anything against it. I take the photo. Okay, I say to Arzu, now I will go to Mr. Jenkins' rooms. She only nods. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to do. I walk up the stairs in this shabby motel. Nothing seems to be inviting. There's filth everywhere. Then I come to room number 172. Why such a high number? Because I counted the motel has only a few rooms, about 25 rooms. They probably wanted to make it appear as if it would be a big motel, as if it would be some sort of a grand scheme. as if this would be a decent establishment. I open the door and there's dust on the floor, and it seems like someone has smoked in the room, has been smoking in the room. No windows are open. The victim didn't had any cigarettes on him, and I didn't smell smoke on the victim. However, I look around and there is a bag on the bed. Assumably it belongs to the victim. But the room does not seem to be used. The bed is made, so the cleaning woman apparently only made the bed but did forget to clean the floor. I go in to the bathroom. No, the bath does not seem to be used. Then I open the dresser. Again, the dresser does not seem to be used. No cloth piece. Nothing is in it. I get thoughtful. Then I go to the bag and I see the victim's passport on the desk. It seems like he had forgotten it. I open the passport. Mr. Clyde Jenkins from Pennsylvania. This strikes me as odd. You do not forget your passport in your motel suite. You do not forget your purse in your motel suite. However, there was only a passport, no money, nothing. As if someone had put it there. I pocket the passport and walk to the bag. I open the bag and I see all new clothes. But these are clothes who all have labels from Turkish fashion houses. Even the underwears have been bought from Turkish fashion houses. So this Mr. Jenkins had no or did not bring any underwear from the States, nothing. And he just bought all his stuff here in Ordu in Turkey. This is weird. Well, of course, it can be possible. Especially if he was one of those young folks who wanna drive around the world randomly. He may have assumed that he will buy his stuff, his clothes abroad. But it is weird though, why such a small bag? Because if he intended to buy his clothes abroad because there it is cheap, admittingly the US dollar is currently stronger, or the Turkish lira is currently weak. So this means if you bring in dollars, you can buy a lot of stuff. But why such a little bag? He could have traveled with a bigger bag and then filled this bag with a lot of clothes, especially if you juxtapose that he probably paid $800 to $1,500 for the flight ticket. Then it does not add up. Why such a little bag? You want to make this journey count.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.